How do you know something is halal? صيغ halal. The صيغ that say that of course. أحل لكم for example. مباح. أحل لكم صيد البحر وطعامه متاعا لكم وللسيارة. We say the halal is مستوى الطرفين. Halal is something that is equally from both sides. You know haram is not equal from both sides. The haram same thing. Halal obligation, haram. You see, obligation is good to do it, bad not to do it. Haram is the opposite. Makruh is good not to do it, fine to do it. You understand? So, but mubah is equal. But of course the intention might make mubah. Now, okay, part of being of mubah. Does a Muslim get reward for doing mubah? Sometimes. Or for not doing Muslim not doing haram, does he get reward?
No. For not doing haram.
Yeah,
sometimes as well.
Sometimes. So you have to think about it, no? Like someone is want to drink alcohol, and then he remembered it's haram, then he put it down, then he gets reward.
Yeah.
Is it? He doesn't get reward all his life for not drinking alcohol. Why not?
Because the opportunity didn't come up.
No opportunity. You see, in Ramadan, you make your intention in the night not to eat all day. And maybe you don't get any opportunity to eat because you are working, you are busy, you go to sleep and you don't wake up until Maghrib. Do you get a reward for that day?
Yeah. Okay, intention, yeah.
Well, you did intention at the beginning. During the day there was no opportunity. So the same thing about haram. If you do intention at the beginning, I am not going to do this. So for the rest of your life, you will get a reward for that. Just the same thing. That is, you have made intention not to eat during the day. There was no opportunity because you are in a Muslim country, nobody eat, there is no food around. Anyway, now go back to halal. What is halal? Halal? How do we know something is halal? When it says لا جناح عليكم, for example, there is no لا حرج. لا حرج. There is no haraj. You see, when the Prophet was in Umrah, in Hajj, and the Sahaba say, we have done this, before this, throwing the stones, and he say, لا حرج, لا حرج. There is no harm. So that makes it halal. It's fine, whatever you start with. Yeah? Not it is halal to do stoning, or it's halal to cut your hair, or no. Those are obligations. The halal is the order. It's fine to start with any of these. Okay? What else can be considered to be halal?
If someone was made haram, then Allah says...
Yeah. That is part of the صيغة. But you see, there is, we said before, every order is an obligation. Yes? If Allah say do something, that's mean an obligation. But if Allah order people, sometimes there is the order that doesn't look like to be obligation. That is the order that comes after forbidding.
Okay, I know.
الأمر بعد الحظر, like Jum'ah. Yeah, like look. إذا حللتم فاصطادوا. Allah forbid people. You see, it was halal to hunt. It's halal to go hunting. Then you wear ihram and it will become haram for you to do hunting. Allah said, لا تحلوا شعائر الله ولا الشهر الحرام. Yes, don't make it halal. You don't hunt. Don't. لا تقتلوا الصيد وأنتم حرم. Yes, don't kill the game while in state of ihram. And then he say وإذا حللتم فاصطادوا. When you have finished the ihram, you can فاصطادوا. It's an order, but that order is supposed to be taking you to the same states as before. Before it was halal. So it just that order is just telling you that it's halal again.
Well, if someone understands that you have to do this thing,
Well, that is difficult. You see when people say, now there is no way that no, there is no way that someone can argue about the fact. Order is an obligation. It's clear from the Quran, from the Hadith. There is something here. Ibn Hazm says every order is an obligation regardless. You understand? And he takes these orders one by one and they try to prove that it is that it's still an obligation or something. For example, let me give you the examples about order بعد الحظر. The Prophet said, I have ordered you not to visit, I have forbidden you from visiting the graves. Now visit them. Ibn Hazm say it is an obligation for everyone to visit a grave once in his life. The majority say it was haram, it was halal, became haram, so now it's halal. Yes? There is إذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض. First, إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله. Ibn Hazm say it was supposed to be an obligation to leave the mosque after the prayer. He said, but there is here qarina. There is something, another hadith that shows you don't have to. And he brings the hadith about the person who prays and he sits in his place, and the malaika say, Allahumma ghfir lahu, Allahumma arhamh. So he said this is qarina, that it is not an obligation to leave their place and go and work. You understand? إذا حللتم فاصطادوا. He did not do anything. He said the Prophet finished his Hajj and he never went hunting. Actually, who said? How can you know? You understand? That is not proof. فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله. He said it's an obligation on a man to be with his wife once in every after.
she has.
And he says that is the limit because you can't have. There is no proof about limits. I mean, he says at least one time between every. Yeah. So this is what he. But the thing is, the answer is when it's clear that the order is an obligation, but also there is something that's called understanding of the religion. Not على فهم السلف الصالح, على فهم رسول الله, on the understanding of the Prophet. So you have, if the Prophet understands something, that is the best understanding. And if you look at the way he dealt with this kind of orders, he didn't deal with them as obligations. He dealt with them as just being halal.
Example?
The fact that he has not...
You can just say that's for...
What? No, he was with the Sahaba actually when they came from Hajj. And they came out. They did not, according to the hadith, did not, at the beginning, they did not hunt. It was something that you have to do as soon as possible. If it's an order.
So is this the only evidence against it?
No, it's not a question about evidence. It's a question of there is proof that it was not dealt. The Prophet does not understand it as to be an obligation.
It's like the hadith of صلوا قبل مغرب.
No, but here there is qarina there. Huh?
Isn't the same thing though with the ayat?
No, this ayat it's an obligation. There is no qarina whatsoever.
No, because you said it was halal in the first place.
Yeah, but it was halal in the first place. That is different matter. Now it's not like the hadith is clear. It says if you want to. You understand? The order is an obligation. But whoever argue about that, he is wrong. I mean, the majority accept it as a rule, they don't apply it, but accept it as a rule, and it's clear, so many dalils. But on this case here, it doesn't show it is an obligation. Even though what Ibn Hazm said is not like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Huh? It makes sense, except that it doesn't show that the Prophet actually dealt with it that way. Okay? He says, استصحاب الإباحة الأصلية. How do you think something is halal? How do you find something halal? Is استصحاب الإباحة الأصلية. استصحاب, people say istishab is like everything. Sometimes some fuqaha they don't bring dalil for it, but the dalil for it is what we mentioned earlier. You know the ayah, فَصَلَ لَكُمْ مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ خَلَقَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. All these are proofs that everything is halal until proven otherwise. So that is the dalil. The dalil that everything is halal. So that is what they call it istishab. Everything is halal until proven haram. So everything that is not mentioned in the Quran, that doesn't say أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ or that is enough to say it is halal. If you don't find the dalil that says haram, it is enough to say it's halal. You don't have to prove it. If there is the proof for it, not general rule. No? You don't get it? Someone tells you don't have to, it is haram to sleep after Asr. People say it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it is haram to sit in a certain way. And then you tell him, okay, what is the proof? If they tell you the Prophet never done it. Yeah? The Prophet never done it. Well, the Prophet have not done a lot of things that we do. The Prophet never sat in a room built with cement and there is a light. He never drove a car.
Never create one.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
that will come about ibadah. They will say that's ibadah, it's tawqif. So if someone tells you it is haram to clap your hand or whistle,
Yeah, find that.
yeah.
وما
وما كان صلاتهم عند البيت إلا مكاء وتصدية. Their prayer was, but that is how they pray.
Yeah.
So he was criticized in the عند البيت. The pray, that is the whistle عند البيت. So that is haram. It is not. They are not supposed to do that. They are supposed to pray properly. But to say it is haram because the qawm of this prophet used to do it, or the qawm, it is halal until proven otherwise. You understand? Until, because Allah says قد فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم. So you don't have to bring the proof. He who says it is haram, he has to bring the proof.
Yeah.
Yes? Everything.
The asl is everything's halal.
The asl is everything. That asl is not man-made. It's the ayah. فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم. You have whistling haram. Where is it detailed? Where it says safir is haram. لا تصفروا, for example. There isn't. So it's not haram then. You understand? So it will be halal.
What if someone were to say to you, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to make everything haram, he would have brought down a bigger book or something like this? Because
okay, thank you very much. Okay.
if he were to say every little thing is haram, the Quran would have been maybe 10 volumes or something like this. If he said,
it will be if he
so that's why
what is possible.
He sent down principles.
Okay, thank you very much. So I just follow that principle. What is the principles? Allah says detailed. Look, haram is detailed. It's not general. You see halal, there is principles about halal. خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. Call it principle if you want, but actually it is detailed as well by itself. But haram, when I say it's haram detailed, not necessary. Like if every animal is going to be mentioned by name. You understand?
Because,
for example, الميتة. حرمت عليكم الميتة. Dead meat is haram for you. Yeah? You see, eat everything. If someone tells you, I want to eat kafir.
There was an Azan, they were talking about that. You kill a kafir to eat him.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
No. Eating a kafir, is it halal?
If you necessity.
If you say it's a necessity, you eat a Muslim.
Is the blood running?
What is it? I'm talking about haram.
No.
Is it haram? Now, if you say it's haram, I need the proof. What is the haram? What is the proof that it is haram to eat a kafir?
Like some sheikh was saying that hyena is halal.
Yeah, that is in Somalia. No, it's not in Somalia. It is the madhab of the Shafi'i and the Zahiris and the Hanbalis. There is a hadith that الضبع صيد وفيه كبش. So that is hadith, which is.
That's Shafi'i's thing.
Yeah, it's not necessary that صيد is not only what is halal to eat. So that is not. Now, when we say. There is a Malik who says sab'a is halal.
The beasts.
No. The hadith that says kullu dhinabin min as-sibah.
Yeah.
This is not detailed according to some people. They say, this is general. It takes like under it will be the cat, the dog, many things. Yeah. That there are some who says very minority who say that كل ذي ناب من السباح is not haram. Malik say, for example, wolf is halal. Aisha used to say everything that is not mentioned in the Quran is halal. And you see their answer to كل ذي ناب من السباح. The hadith كل ذي ناب من السباح. Every animal that has nab.
Yeah.
Canines from the sibah. The hadith how it says كل ذي ناب من السباح فأكله حرام. Look at this hadith. كل ذي ناب من السباح فأكله حرام. Now there is a hadith that نهى رسول الله. The Prophet has forbidden كل ذي ناب من السباح. Forget about this hadith. No, this hadith. كل ذي ناب من السباح فأكله حرام. What do you understand from it?
What it is.
Normally, someone will understand that whatever eating it is haram. But some people will say, no, that is exactly what the ayah say. وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبُعُ إِلَّا مَا ذَكَّيْتُمْ. Whatever the sab'a has eaten, except the prey of the sab'a, you can't eat it until you do the cat if it's alive. Yeah, but that is not
to understand.
So no. Now we go back to kafir. If someone tells you eating a kafir, is it halal or haram? Eating mayit, someone dead. If he is Muslim, then he is haram. If he is kafir, then إنما المشركون نجس. حرمت عليكم. Of course, if he has not been. What if someone slaughtered him?
And he's leaving.
No, still, you can't eat kafir. Actually, even mutla, لا تمثلوا. The Prophet said, لا تمثلوا. You know what is mutla?
Disfiguration.
When you cut a piece of someone, if you cut a human being, you cut him into pieces, it's haram.
So you can't do it to enemies, no one like that.
No, you can't cut someone's head or his hand or feet, except where it is allowed. As, for example, someone has stolen something or.
How about when they're alive and you're doing it to an enemy, you capture them?
No, it's haram. It's haram.
Then you have to bury it anyway. Anyway,
When you're fighting. When you're fighting in a battle, then you need to.
Well, that is in the battle. People don't know what you don't have a choice. You see the hadith. الآية says فضربوا منهم الأعناق واضربوا كل بنان واضربوا منهم كل بنان. But how it? Yeah. But that is when you don't have the choice what to do.
You know,
فضربوا فوق الأعناق واضربوا منهم كل بنان.
haram is detailed.
Yes.
And then you know how detailed is that word means. It means it's an abuse.
مفصل. It has to be specified.
It's going to be point by point.
Yes, specified. It is forbidden to drink blood. It is forbidden to drink alcohol. It is forbidden to sit, to lie down, putting one foot over the other.
But can you say, you know how Prophet was given eloquency?
Yeah.
He can make big things into...
Yes.
And then he... but that's not detailed, is it? It's...
Yeah. He has the ability to make... give a ruling about a lot of things in short statement.
Is that detailed though?
No, that is, he has that ability, but he doesn't have to do it when something has to be detailed. I mean, the Prophet was, look, the Prophet has the ability.
It was given, doesn't mean this all the time.
No, of course, sometimes you don't need to, or it's not possible to use it. You see, when the Prophet says, gold for gold, silver for silver, barley for barley,
That's detailed.
that is detailed. You understand? He didn't make it as a general rule. Even though people take here, what people say, what the Hanbalis and Shafi'is and Malikis, and they say everything for everything is haram. That will be eloquency of speech. You understand? Now the Prophet went into details. I mean, it's a long sentence. You understand? You can just make it short sentence, but it's not possible to make it short sentence. It has to be detailed here. It's something that is haram, and it has to be detailed because not everything is haram hand for hand.
So that means we'll find anything that's haram, the Prophet will detail it as well.
That is what the Quran says. فَصَّلَ لَكُمْ مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ. Even when كُلُّ ذِي نَابٍ مِنَ السِّبَاحِ, that is detailed.
Yeah,
It specifies some kind or some type of animals.
it's going to be either with that or without it.
Yeah. So the haram is detailed, the halal is general. You don't find it detailed, really. Sometimes, it doesn't mean that you can't find it detailed all the time. وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ. But haram is detailed. Okay? Okay. So, azima and rukhsa. And what is azima and what is rukhsa? Azima is, what is the definition of azima?
Is it from Azim?
Huh?
Is it from Azim?
No, from azm. فإذا عزمت فتوكل على الله.
Okay.
When you decide.
Yeah.
Huh? So it is a ruling which is decisive rulings, where there is no choice. قصد على وجه التأكيد, we call it. Okay? Azm is something which is decisive, like it's not where there is a choice, where it's not where you have a choice. Something that Allah has ruled where there is no choice. And what does it make that? Azima?
Obligation.
Every obligation and every haram is azima. Okay? So azima, every obligation. Salat is azima. Ramadan is azima. Hajj is azima. Yeah? Not drinking alcohol is azima. Not committing zina is azima. Yes? So everything that the Sharia has ordered and made it obligation or haram, that will become azima. Okay? Rukhsa in Arabic language means easiness. Yeah? And in definition, in the istilah,
option.
اسم ما أباحه الشارع عند الضرورة.
not ما أباحه الشارع عند الضرورة.
تخفيف.
التخفيف لطارئ. They call it التخفيف لطارئ. there is easiness for something that is not regular. In the Sharia, this is what are considered to be any azima when there is tari' is something that happens but not regular. You understand? Something happened for something that happened, something that doesn't happen to everybody, or the exception. So there is easiness with that. Easiness comes with this, so that is called rukhsa. For example, rukhsa. What is the example of rukhsa?
Choice.
No, easy. An example.
Example.
For example.
Travelers. Not fasting for traveler or for someone who is ill. Is rukhsa for a woman not to fast if she has her period?
No. No, it's occasion.
A woman in Ramadan not to fast. It's not rukhsa. She doesn't have a choice.
Is there any hardship in it anyway?
It's azim.
There's no hardship.
Well, it's not a question about hardship or not hardship. Someone will be traveling in the middle of the sea, cold weather, nice. People will be in their place of residence, boiling, and he will be in the middle of the sea in a yacht and cold weather and stuff. What's difficult about that? It's not a question about difficulty. People say that travel because it's difficulty, or
Yes, this was the opposite.
yeah. If they say it's difficult, then they have to. Then if when there is no difficulty, then they should not let people break their fast. They will still have to force them to fast. We don't know the reason why. Rukhsa, is not the saying of the people, it's the saying of the Prophet. There is a hadith in Muslim where a man came to the Prophet and said that I sometime fast. And it's easier for, he said, I travel a lot. And it's easier for me sometimes to fast while I am traveling rather than delaying it to later. So the Prophet said, Hiya rukhsatun min Allah. It is a rukhsa from Allah. So that is the rule. And then he made another rule. فَمَنْ أَخَذَ بِهَا فَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ. Whoever takes it is good. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَأْخُذْ بِهَا فَلَا حَرَجْ. And whoever doesn't take it, there is no harm. So that hadith, which is sahih, give us a rule about rukhsa. That every rukhsa, you have the choice whether to take it or not. You understand? But it is better to take it, but you don't have to. Even though the Prophet was talking about fasting, but he referred to rukhsa. He didn't say about fasting. He said, Hiya rukhsatun min Allah, فَمَنْ أَخَذَ بِهَا. So whoever takes the rukhsa. So whatever it is rukhsa, you can either take it or leave it.
Why is it better again to take it?
Well, he said it's better to take it.
So that
فَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ.
Does that come under mubah?
What?
To take the rukhsa?
To take after the rukhsa is mustahab. Because فَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ.
That's what I meant mustahab.
Yes. And not taking the rukhsa is mubah.
Yeah.
But he puts in rukhsa underneath rukhsa and the darura.
Yeah, now we have to go according to these examples and see where if he is right or not. Now, for example, he say anwa' al-rukhas, the examples of rukhas. Yeah. You see, the rukhsa. You know the hadith of Atiyah. Nahana Rasulullah, hadith in Bukhari and Muslim from Atiyah. Nahana Rasulullah an ittiba' al-janaiz. The Prophet has forbidden us from following the janaiz. Yeah, the Atiyah. He said, وَلَمْ يَعْزِمْ عَلَيْنَا. But he didn't make it. That is mean he didn't make it haram. It's not azima. Like he just nahana is like she understood. She never gave us the word, so we can't take it. But her understanding of what she heard, that the Prophet just did not like it, or he just advised them not to do it, because if he did the azima, then it becomes haram. You understand? So that is her understanding of what she heard, that it is not haram to follow the janazah. Okay, for the woman. Now he gives anwa' al-rukhas. Yeah. So he says anwa' al-rukhas. For example, ibahat al-muharram 'inda al-darura. Haram becomes halal at time of necessity. قد فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم إلا ما اضطررتم إليه. Now you have to understand that it is a rukhsa to eat haram at time of darura.
Linguistically.
It is rukhsa. Yeah. Linguistically. And in the Sharia, sometimes it is rukhsa. Yeah. Yes. If someone is hungry, not very hungry, really feeling bad, but he can still do his obligations, and he doesn't fear any death or any illness, then it is a rukhsa to eat. I mean, he is hungry and he feels the pain of hunger. Yeah? Some people they feel hunger like, and there is no food around. So it is fine for him to eat dead meat or pork because he is hungry and he feels the pain. Sometimes the people are like that, you understand? Now, if that person is going to die, he sees himself to die. Yeah? Is it rukhsa? No, we don't look at the fact فصل لكم إلا ما اضطررتم إليه. Now there is another azima that says لا تقتلوا أنفسكم. You understand? So there is an azima there and there is a rukhsa here. So there is you understand? So you have to take with the azima. You are not going to take the rukhsa. There is azima there and you have to take it. You understand? Why do you choose to take azima and you don't choose to take the rukhsa? If someone says, okay, I still want to take the rukhsa, what is your proof that you can take the azima and...
So you can't take the azima. You have to take it.
I mean, the fact that you will be disobeying Allah, that is a choice. Forget about that choice. I mean, there is here order that you are going to disobey. You understand? And you know the hadith, ما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي مما افترضت عليه. It is always, there is a priority always for the obligations. That is the priority always. Before the mustahab. Azima is just matter of istihbab. Yes? But here we have another order that you will be disobeying. Okay? So, إباحة المحرم عند الضرورة is not just like that. Oh, it is rukhsa. You can take it or not take it. You remember that story about the kuffar, the Romans taking Sahaba? There is a story that you hear it a lot from the jihadists and the tablighis.
I threw him in the pot.
About the tablighis. He said, kiss my hand. He said, kissing your hand is not problem. At the beginning, he told him, you eat pork. No. And he was throwing the Sahaba in the pot, in a big pot, and then the Sahaba were like, they were burned, like cooked. And the man will insist not eating pork.
Wasn't from the Salaf they saying that?
Yeah.
The donors, it was the Salaf, and then Umar saw him.
Yeah, Umar al-Khattab said everybody will kiss him. And
That's so ضعيف.
come on. That's the person who does that is an idiot. Who should be flogged, not.
You know how many
People have been burned, and I'm not going to eat pork.
So it's not in Bukhari.
No, it is not in the Quran.
You said one thing about if he's almost gonna die.
Yeah.
What if he's not gonna die, but he's gonna lose a hand or become sick?
Yes,
Same thing.
his hands is not his property. He can't just. It's forbidden for him.
The man told him to become Catholic, like become Christian.
Yes.
Marry a daughter, marry a daughter, and half my wealth and stuff like that.
Yes. But that is the proposal came later when he was he liked him and his yeah. But that story.
Because if it was true, why did they allow the Muslims to die? If it was true,
I mean, you have to put things.
Necessity.
You have a Muslim that his life is have been put in your hand, and that you have to do everything to save, and eating pork. Yeah. Now, it's haram. It's haram. You remember the ayah that says, what is necessity? Necessity about saving life. Necessity, when it comes to necessity, is about saving life. Necessity is not like some people understand it. I am going to blow myself because I want to have an Islamic state. It's not necessity to have Islamic state. Islamic state is to save your life. Even if you are going to blow the Islamic state. The reality, that is the reality. It's about saving life. So, if you are going to save your life, what about saving another Muslim life? It's the same. Because the Prophet said that Muslims are like jasad al-wahid, are just like one body. So, if he is in necessity, you are in necessity. So if a Muslim, for example, is going to die, and the only way for you to save him, let's say Ramadan, a Muslim is going to die. I want to give him blood. But I'm so tired, I can't, because I have not eaten all day. You go and eat and give him blood. It's just like if he is going to die, you are going to die. It's one. That's what the Prophet said. It's just like one body. You understand? And if he is going to be burned, that means you are going to be burned, and you are not supposed to allow yourself to burn. You have to do everything in your power to keep yourself alive. So that is necessity. Another thing. تصحيح بعض العقود التي يحتاجها الناس.
طيب شيخ تلفظ بكلمة الكفر.
Yes. تلفظ بكلمة الكفر. To say the word of كفر. To say the word of كفر is not itself كفر, is it?
No.
The people كفر. There is nothing that is كفر unless it comes first from the heart. That is what the Prophet said. التقوى ها هنا, التقوى ها هنا, التقوى ها هنا. And you see the man who said, what is the difference between a person who says, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk, and the person who says, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk? What's the difference between someone who says it and he mean it, and someone who says it because he was so happy and he just said it by mistake?
But he meant the same thing.
Yeah, they said the same word. They said the same word, but one said it by mistake. And Allah says, إلا من لا إكراه في الدين من كفر بالله بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره ليس إلا من أخطأ. Oh, this is أخطأ. Because that actually person that's saying that word is never kufr. It kufr only when you say it and you mean it.
But say for example someone says words of kufr.
Yeah.
Like he says something bad about the Prophet.
Yeah.
Are you going to say that what he said is not kufr unless he meant it in his heart?
Well, why does he say it if he doesn't mean it?
If anyone says something.
I mean, people, you see, people have things in their hearts. How are you going to find out those things? By saying. After he say, what else? Huh? Okay, he said it. What else you want? But when someone says something, all I have to make sure. Yeah? Did you know what you have said?
Yeah, no.
When if he say I know, that means he say I have it in my heart. That is I know. You understand? If he say it was a slip of the tongue, then if he say, oh, I just said it because I never believe in this. I said it because there was a reason, I was afraid, or you understand? That is a different matter. But that is how you find out. I mean, people, when you discuss with people, it's talk. You can never reach someone heart to see it. There is their tongues, and when they say it is, and it's called كلمة الكفر. But كلمة الكفر by itself, وقالوا كلمة الكفر وكفروا بعد إسلامهم. قالوا كلمة الكفر وكفروا. They said it, but they made كفر. Because they meant it. How do we know that they meant it? Allah testified against them, or if they say it themselves. Because nobody can go to someone else's heart and see what's in it.
If that guy was smart, he would have taken he would have said, yeah, he's Christian. And he would have took his wife and he would have taken half the kingdom. And he would have still been Muslim.
It's the book because some people, after they get caught, they might say, oh, I was joking, or I was...
You have to keep on saying.
You know, for example, what can we do then?
Yeah. Every time. So someone says something bad about the Prophet, you catch him, so I'm still all the time. You let go, again, you let go.
As long as the person, look, a person, there is no time, no limit of how many times a person can make tawbah. There is some people who are considered to be hypocrites. Yeah? لَتَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ فِي لَحْنِ الْقَوْلِ. And they were in the time of the Prophet. And they will say things, and they come to the Prophet, and Allah testify against them. And they were in Medina, living there. You understand? There is nothing you can do about when you catch him, when you catch someone insulting the Prophet, you don't even have to say to him, make tawbah. But if he say it before you catch him, then there is nothing you can do about it.
What's that?
I'm not talking about tawbah. Yeah, slip of a tongue. He says,
No, what if
slip of a tongue.
someone has
I didn't even say it.
Yeah.
And he says it again.
Yeah.
And again and again and again.
How are you going to find out if it was slip of the tongue or not?
like sure the people have habit to insult
Huh?
You just catch them
الناس اللي عندهم habit يكفروا
Yeah, it is
Somalis, they say لا إله محمد رسول الله. لا إله محمد رسول الله. They don't finish it, so they say لا إله محمد رسول الله. Many times you have people say that.
yeah, but they don't mean it, of course. You know that, but they don't mean it. But it's not about, that is how they say it, or they don't know what they are saying. But there are people who actually go to different countries in North Africa, they say kufr. They say,
Even my country.
Even some parts of Somalia,
yeah, they say it like this. But then, and many of them mean it. They know what they are saying. And if he say, I said it and I mean it, so what's left? If you said it and you meant it, that is kufr. Huh? But then this person becomes a Muslim. Then he is not a Muslim. Because the opposite of ibadah is insulting. So now he is not Muslim. Then he becomes a Muslim. But because when he was a kafir, he used to say it all the time. You know when people have a dirty tongue, it becomes a habit. Later, it becomes a slip of the tongue.
Albani said,
قلة أدب, yeah, that is his عقيدة. No, that he said actually, if he say it and meant it,
it's a culture like thing.
No, there is a difference between someone who used to say it and then he knew, now he understand, but it's a word that comes to his tongue every time he is angry, without meaning it, without wanting to say it, and someone who say it, he want to say it. Yeah. There is a big difference between this.
Albani said the one who's meant to.
He said it's so.
He said if someone say it and mean it, it's so adab.
Yeah.
One time a lady came to the masjid and she saw Qasim and she said, Jesus. You know, people say Qasim they call him like, oh, Jesus. Qasim, tall one.
No, she
became Muslim.
No, but you know, he was super murji'a. No, because the murji'a don't say that. Really, not all the murji'a, because the murji'a understand properly aqidah. The murji'a don't say to that point. They say you have to make the difference between actions, mean what you mean, a person who does an action and he mean it, and to the one who doesn't. But they don't say someone insulting the Prophet, because insulting.
Only the ones now, the new Murji'at al-Asr.
Well, this is it's not Murji'at al-Asr. Not the Murji'a who are Maturidis, or Ash'aris, they don't say that.
Yeah.
That is the Aqidah of Albani because he misunderstood the books of the Murji'ah. خير إن شاء الله. So, رخصة. He says تصحيح بعض إباحة ترك الواجب مثل الفطر في رمضان للمسافر والمريض دفع المشقة. Okay? Ramadan, fasting in Ramadan, for example. That is رخصة. رخصة, fasting in Ramadan, not fasting. عزيمة is to fast. But someone is traveling or sick. He has a choice. So that's رخصة, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, he said he gave an example about تصحيح بعض العقود التي يحتاجها الناس. There is some, بيوع, when there is بيوع, there is always agreements. You have to look at the things. There are some rules that fuqaha have made for transaction to be valid. The fuqaha have made it, based sometimes on hadith da'if. And then he says here sometimes it is fine to do it. For example, to buy something that you have not seen. Yeah? To buy something that you have not seen. Do you have to see something to buy it? As long as you know what is. Because according to the fuqaha, many fuqaha, they say you have to see something. You have to see it. To see it, how to see it? You understand? Someone want to buy land. 4 kilometers of land. How is he going to see it? You understand? Because then from there they say, okay, the rule is you have to see. But then how are you going to buy to see an egg when you buy it? Or watermelon. Buy watermelon and inside it is white. But you want to buy a red one. You understand? So you want to buy watermelon and that's it. That's what you want to buy, and yeah. So that risk is fine to buy. That is not a gamble. You want to buy a watermelon, and watermelon is, you don't know what is in it. You buy even you buy a sheep, you look at it, it is fine, but maybe it has cancer or something. Maybe you take it to the veterinary and it has cancer. What you are with everything that you buy, there is a risk about it. It involves some risk. You understand? So that has nothing to do with rukhsa. Actually, it's not part here, because these rules that they have done are actually themselves. They are not part of the religion. So he says الأصل في الرخصة الإباحة فهي تنقل الحكم الأصلي من اللزوم إلى التخيير بين الفعل والترك. Part of the rukhsa, a lot of people say rukhsa, for example. There is a lot of examples about rukhsa. For example, rukhsa about joining the prayers. People put it as rukhsa. Is it rukhsa? Is it rukhsa to join two prayers?
People don't understand that the Prophet made the Jannah.
If you put
one standing together,
you have to pray this right in its time, but you can delay it to the last minute, then you pray that.
There is no proof. It's not rukhsa. It is azima. It is azima to pray in time. Look at إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. The hadith of the Prophet, he explained the time. صلاة وقت الظهر إذا زالت الشمس ما لم يدخل العصر. So ظهر, as long as Asr has not started. Asr start, there is no ظهر. And then there is a hadith in Muslim that the Prophet said إنما التفريط في اليقظة. It is a sin while awake to delay one prayer until the next prayer starts.
So why do people pray like they make dhuhr 1:30? If you're allowed to pray at any time between
it's you can pray anytime you want. And some people make it 1:30, some people make it 2 o'clock. It depends on the mosques. No? And
sorry, you know this. Not everyone. Is that everyone's opinion though?
What is about the prayer? About the prayer, the majority of the madhahib say that some prayers, such as, for example, dhuhr, especially dhuhr. Look, dhuhr, all the madhahib say it is better to pray dhuhr at the very early time. and they're proof that that is what the Prophet used to do. Yeah? Their proof also, there is a hadith in Bukhari and Muslim from Ibn Mas'ud that the Prophet said, أحب الأعمال إلى الله الصلاة لوقتها. You know this hadith? الصلاة لوقتها. Now, Ali ibn al-Hasan al-Mu'ammari, who is weak, said it, الصلاة لأول وقتها. 100 of people say الصلاة لوقتها. He said, with other weak people, الصلاة لأول وقتها.
Which book says
It was a weak person.
Which book says?
No, Ali ibn Hasan al-Mu'ammari.
Where do you say that?
He is himself a narrator.
Okay, yeah.
But he is one of the narrators of this hadith, and he says لأول وقتها. And there are other narrations. But لوقتها, for the time. So what is the time? The time is between Dhuhr and Asr. You understand? So that is as-salatu liwaqtiha. So don't delay it, don't pray before, and don't pray after. That is salatu liwaqtiha. So people based on that hadith say as-salatu liawwali waqtiha, so it's better to pray at the beginning. So they make it with first Dhuhr. Now Asr, also the majority say you have to pray at the early. But the Ahnaf have a different opinion about what is early. For them early is 2 times the length of the shadow.
2 million.
When it comes to Maghrib, they say it is better to pray early. Not actually the Shafi'is and Hanafis. They say you have to pray early, not because about the time. They say because Maghrib doesn't have time. They say Maghrib it starts and finishes. It's like it's not extended to Isha, which is a mistake because the hadith of the Prophet makes it extended to Isha. And Isha, everybody agrees that Isha is better to delay it. To delay it until, they say the first third of the night. Actually, until midnight. Yeah, because Salatul Isha, according to the hadith of the Prophet, not like the majority say until Fajr. The Prophet said, إلى منتصف الليل. Salatul Isha, إذا غاب الشفق الأحمر إلى منتصف الليل. It's haram to delay. After منتصف الليل it's not Isha. The majority when they say Isha, to delay it. You know this hadith that I mentioned now about delaying the prayer? التفريط في اليقظة أن تؤخر صلاة حتى يدخل وقت أخرى. It is a sin to delay one prayer until the next prayer starts. So they say we take this hadith where they supposed to take it. They don't. Not delay Dhuhr to Asr and not to delay. But they say this hadith means it is a sin to delay one prayer to the other to the next prayer. So as long as we don't delay Isha until Fajr, it is fine. That's mafhum mukhalaf. That is wrong. It is a sin to delay the Isha until Fajr. But to delay it beyond midnight, if there is no dalil, of course, it's fine. But since there is a dalil that says you can't delay it beyond midnight, just like Fajr, it is haram to delay Fajr until Dhuhr. Yes? But doesn't that hadith which says it is haram to delay one prayer to the other prayer, we can't use it with Fajr and say, oh, I just pray Fajr before Dhuhr. Because there is another dalil that says you can't actually delay it after sunrise. You understand? Now, the prayers are clear in the hadith which prayer you have to be, where they have to be prayed. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As al-Muslim gives every prayer its time. And the Prophet says it is a sin to delay one prayer until the other prayer starts. They say this is only for traveler, for the resident. For traveler it is. But the Prophet said that hadith when he was traveling. That hadith of Abu Qatada, it is a sin to delay one prayer until the other prayer starts. The Prophet was in travel. He was not in Medina. And when you have a hadith, how do you understand hadith? How do you understand hadith? When we have different hadith, how do you understand it? We have a saying of the Prophet that gives every prayer its time. We have the ayah that says إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. We have a hadith that the Prophet joined 2 prayers. Yes? are we going to harmonize between them? So
Makes sense.
these hadiths that are clear from the saying of the Prophet, I mean the hadith of the Prophet, nobody can say, oh, it doesn't mean this. They are clear.
Yeah.
The part is clear. Now the hadith of the Prophet joining two prayers, they are not clear. You know why? Joined two prayers, he might have just prayed every prayer in its time, just by delaying one to the last minute and praying one the earliest time, so they are joined. It's possibility. It's also possible that actually he did what they say. So what are you going to do? To take the understanding that corresponds with the hadith, or take the understanding that contradict the hadith and make that hadith doesn't make sense.
The one that harmonizes it.
Of course, that is how you outtake the religion. The Prophet is not going to do something that contradicts what he says. And if the four madhab insist on taking that understanding, the third madhab, Abu Hanifa is bari in this matter. The other madhab. Now if they insist on that, then there is a hadith that the Prophet joined the prayer in Medina. You know the hadith? جمع رسول الله في Bukhari and Muslim في المدينة من غير خوف ولا مطر. The Prophet has done جمع الصلاتين in Medina without fear, من غير خوف ولا مطر, and without rain. I mean, people rain, they do جمع. The Prophet did جمع without rain, without fear. So why don't you do it? Why do you say it's haram?
So what was the reason for that? For doing it?
He didn't do it. He just did it. You see, you know the hadith, ما خير رسول الله بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. You know this hadith?
Yeah.
He has never been given the choice between two matters, except to take the easy one. You see, I don't know the Medina, I was not living there. But you see, when you are in Medina, sometimes there is, forget about the rain. There was no rain, because he said there was no rain. You see, people of Medina, many of them, what they do? They have gardens. Yes? Outside. Not inside the Medina, not in the city. People have their gardens outside. And sometimes there is what you call harvesting time. And people go there. You make adhan, what they have supposed to do. Come. You know, harvesting, it happens when? At the end of the summer. And it is short time. After that, there will be fall and there will be a lot of rain. If you don't finish, you have problem with your garden, you lose. So, you do the adhan, people will come, it takes them time, do wudu, go back. Medina, there was no water. Sometimes the Prophet will be in Medina and there is no water. Yeah? To do wudu. So is it fine to within the boundaries of halal, delaying the prayer to the last minute, it's still halal? It's not rukhsa. Rukhsa when it is the opposite of azima. If it was an obligation to pray at the beginning, then it will be rukhsa. This is both of them are rukhsa, praying at the beginning or the end. But now you have the choice between making it difficult to the people or making it easy. So you delay the prayer to the last minute, so people don't have to go and come back and go and come back. Same thing, you are in an army and you are traveling and you have an army, 1,000 people in the desert, 10 days. You know what's the biggest problem when you are traveling? Water. And the other problem is people are trying to get quick. They don't want to waste time. Now, Dhuhr times comes, Allahu Akbar, everybody has to come down. Coming down maybe even involves, if you are going to take a break, the animals have to take a break. Bring everything down. Do wudu. Go up. Time and water consuming. Asr comes, so washing 5 times a day, isn't it easier to wash 3 times a day? Because from Dhuhr to Asr, many people will need to do wudu again. So that is rukhsa, taking the easy, which is not the rukhsa from according to the Sharia, which means the opposite of azima. It's just thinking and make it matters easy. Huh? If the Prophet was praying outside the time, yeah, why he didn't? He would have prayed, for example, Fajr with Dhuhr. You know why not praying Dhuhr and Fajr together? Because the time with them is not shared. There is a gap.
Is there any hadith that said he did that?
Never. You can never find hadith that the Prophet did jam' between Asr and Maghrib. You know why? Because Asr is not extended until Maghrib. You have to pray before Maghrib. Long before Maghrib.
It didn't happen once as well.
He never done it. Actually, that is because he forgot and he was fighting the kuffar.
Busy,
yeah. One in the battle, he delayed Maghrib, Asr until Maghrib. Huh? And that is that is not what's jamah. Huh? He started cursing the kuffar. ملأ الله قبورهم كما شغلونا عن الصلاة. It's not, the others were his choice. He chose to delay Dhuhr to Asr, but there he was fighting and they won't allow him to pray. And there was no Salat al-Khawf then. But he never did Jam'a al-Salatain between Asr and Maghrib, or Isha and Fajr, or Fajr and Dhuhr. And the two prayers that he has put Jam'a between them is the times where there is no gap. Like one finished, the other one starts. Clearly makes you understand. Actually, that is the understanding of Ibn Umar. Not understanding, that is what Ibn Umar reported. Ibn Umar was in Mecca. This hadith is in Bukhari. Ibn Umar was in Mecca and his wife died in Medina, Safiya bint Ubayd, and he was told, someone went to him, your wife died, so he went to see her before she is buried. And he is traveling. Maghrib started. Nafi' say they told him Maghrib. He did not answer. He kept riding. He says almost Isha. He said he stopped. He prayed Maghrib. This is Ibn Umar. He prayed Maghrib. Then he sat down a little bit. Then he looked at the sky. He saw Isha starting. Then he prayed Isha. Then he finished his journey. Then he said, this is what I saw the Prophet doing when he is in hurry. Clearer than that you can't get. You will get hadith from Ibn Abbas and Anas ibn Malik. Yeah? That makes it maybe the Prophet did two prayer together. But maybe. It's not clear. Even if it was clear. Yeah? Even if it was clear. Ibn Abbas and Anas contradicting Ibn Umar. A visual matter. Not understanding. Understanding, you don't take understanding of anybody. But someone tells you, I have seen something, and someone tells you, I have seen something. Yeah? It's like the hadith when we speak about hadith shad and hadith. Huh? Of course, there is tarjih. You have to decide who I am going to go with. Now, Ibn Abbas is Hafiz. Anas ibn Malik is Hafiz. Ibn Umar is Hafiz. They are talking, three of them. Ibn Umar saying something. These two saying something different. Yeah? Who are you going to go with?
What's the age?
The majority. People will say Ibn Abbas was afqah. But this is not matter about afqah. Understanding. This is matter about looking at the sky. Ibn Abbas was 10-year-old when the Prophet died. So if let's say the Prophet prayed this prayer, he was 9. And Anas ibn Malik was also, he said when Prophet came to Medina, he was a child. Now, do children know really about time or not time? Ibn Umar was talking about Hajj. Ibn Umar was talking about Hajj, that the Prophet has done this and this. People told him, Anas ibn Malik contradict you. He said, I was the companion with the Prophet. I was accompanying with the Prophet when Anas was still looking at women without having anything on their hair, like without hiding their hair, like, without putting hijab. Like I was the companion of the Prophet, sitting with him as his companion when Anas was still going to inside the house and looking at women without putting hijab. That's when he was a child, so he will not understand what he understands.
How much old is Umar then? How much old is he?
No, Abdullah ibn Umar was a man in the time of the Prophet. You know, in Ghazwat Badr,
So 15
in Ghazwat Badr, in Khandaq, he was a teenager, he was 15. You understand? So 15 is someone who understands. You understand? And all the expeditions of the Prophet after Khandaq, he was all of them. He was taken as a man. Anas, Abdullah bin Abbas say, I will know that the Prophet prayer has finished when I hear takbir. You know why? Because he was at the back. Because he was a boy, small boy. So you don't compare. I mean, when he memorizes, he memorizes. But when he talks about something he has seen, it depends. Now, if he say, I have seen a donkey, everybody knows a donkey. But when he say, the Prophet has prayed in a certain time, at that time, do you know the time? You understand? Not everybody, even at that time, even at that period of time where there is no watches and stuff, children are not supposed to be experts about time.
We can't take the testimony of a child anyway.
No, it's not about when he said it, he was old, and he is talking about something that he has said, and he is trustworthy.
Sure,
But
there is the possibility that he did it because of too hot.
no, there is a possibility that the Prophet, sometimes the Prophet, it is too hot. When it is too hot, actually, it's an obligation to delay the prayer. The Prophet said, إن هذا الحر من فيح جهنم فإذا اشتد الحر فأبردوا بالصلاة. إن شدة الحر من فيح جهنم فإذا اشتد الحر فأبردوا بالصلاة. It's an order to delay the prayer when it is very hot, and that is what he did actually. One time Bilal came to the Prophet and said, I do the adhan. No. He kept telling him, no. He said, until حتى رأينا فيء التلال. Until they started looking at the fake, which means that it was almost hasr. So that is one time. Even if he delays that, is different. You see, delaying prayers, when there is an order to delay it, so that is specific. It's like being in Arafah. It is forbidden to pray Maghrib except in Muzdalifah. You see, when the Prophet stopped between Arafah, Muzdalifah and Arafah, when the Prophet stopped there and people say the prayer, what did he say? He said, As-salatu amamak, prayer is there. So there is no prayer there. You can't pray there. That prayer has to be there.
Even if it's delayed.
Even if it's delayed, the prayer is there. The prayer of Maghrib can't be prayed on that night except in Muzdalifah. But when the Prophet reached actually Muzdalifah, what did he do? Straight away he went to prayer to Maghrib, and then they stopped to take the animals' stuff, and then they prayed Isha. So it wasn't a choice there. That is azima as well, not a choice. Okay?
Was it the same thing when he ordered the Sahaba to go to a place, not to pray outside?
Yes. Yes. لا يصلين أحدكم إلا في بني قريظة. That is, people say it is different, and some Sahaba are no, they say some Sahaba are Zahiris, those who prayed in Bani Qurayza, and those who prayed in time. Yet they criticize the Zahiris. Okay, let's say it is right. Let's say it is right to do what these two groups have done. Yeah. So some Sahaba are Zahiris, some are not. So nobody should be criticized. But the truth is, you have to pray in Bani Qurayza.
There was no answer.
And there is no say the Prophet never agreed with anybody. They say the Prophet agreed with them. Where did he say that he agrees?
He never told any group you're wrong and you're wrong.
Who was there to say that? The hadith says he never shouted at anybody. لم يعنف. When did you see the Prophet shouting at anybody anyway? I mean, even when people do something wrong, the Prophet never shouted at them. Do you know that the Prophet someone will do something wrong, and he will never tell him in his face. Yeah, someone will come to him and say, هذا لكم وهذا لي. This is for you, this is for me. He sent him to collect sadaqah. And then what did he do? Did he say, no, that is haram, that is wrong? He went to the masjid and he said, oh people, why do I send someone? You understand? Now the person who tell me he never shouted at anybody, he has to tell me first that the Prophet has been told. Because there are some people who think that whatever happens in his time, Allah will tell him. Well, there are people who do understand that. You know, there is so many hadith about, for example, if you ask Shafi'i or Hanbali, the Malikis and Abu Hanifa don't agree. But Hanbali and Shafi'i ask them, can a boy lead the prayer? Child. They will say yes. What is the proof? That Umar ibn Salama, in the time of the Prophet, he was leading the prayer. Where was that? It was in a tribe far, far away. That the Prophet told them, Ya ummukum aqra'ukum. They went back there and they found a boy. He was memorized a lot of Quran and they made him the Imam. Does the Prophet know about that? They will say, oh, it happened in the time of the Prophet. If it was wrong, Allah would have given him wahy. Where did he say that? Where Allah said that? Where did Allah say, if anything, every time a criminal in Medina commits a crime, that Jibreel will come to the Prophet and tell him? You understand? Or everybody in Medina who makes a mistake, Allah will come to the Prophet and tell him. You see, the Malikis and the Ahnaf, because they don't agree with that, they will give you this answer. They will say, there is no proof the Prophet knew about it. The Prophet, there was a horse slaughtered at the time of the Prophet. And they ate it, the family of Abu Bakr. It's in Bukhari. The Ahnaf say horse is haram. So if you tell them this hadith, they will say, what's the proof that the Prophet have known about it? You understand? So everybody, this hadith, they use them. And then when it doesn't contradict their method, they will say, what is the proof that the Prophet knew about it? The truth is, everything that happened, unless the Prophet was there, then he has not known about it, that we are not sure he has known about it. You understand? So you can't use the Prophet it happened in the time of the Prophet, and that means it's halal. Yeah, something like that. That's hadith, of course. Which is... So, the Prophet being there, so that hadith doesn't mean the Prophet knew about it or... Anyway, let's go back to Azima. He is giving you an example here about Azima. He say, يكون الأخذ بالعزيمة أولى. They say, Azima has different categories. So they say, sometimes it is better to take Azima. And they give example about Awan Musaylim al-Kadhab. They took 2 people from the Muslims. And they took them to him. And they say, what do you say about Muhammad? And they kept saying, Huwa Rasulullah. Okay? So one of them agreed with him. Yeah? So there was 2 people that Musaylim al-Kadhab has taken. This is a story which is invalid story. It's a very weak hadith. Yeah? And then he took these 2 men and he will tell to one, what do you say about Muhammad? He will say Rasulullah. What about me? He will say you too. So he let him go. And the other one, he will say, I don't hear what you are saying. And then he killed him. You understand? And according to this hadith, he said, أخذ برخصة الله and صدع بالحق هنيئا له. So it's better for the second one. which hadith it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, these people about usuliyin, they don't look at hadith isnad, they don't look at the isnad anyway. They just bring anything. So that hadith is da'if. Also the hadith of Ammar ibn Yasir is very famous hadith. You know the hadith of Ammar ibn Yasir? When he was taken and tortured? This is a very famous hadith. This hadith actually, you remember the problem that was between Ahmad bin Hanbal and the people in his time? Not Ahmad bin Hanbal. Between Ahl al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Khalq al-Quran. You know when they took the people of Khalq al-Quran? You know when Al-Ma'mun was the Khalifa, in his time he took these people, the Mu'tazila, became his friends. You know, the Khalifa always have people who advises him about religion. So somehow the Mu'tazila got to him and they became his advisors.
They followed them and anything.
Yeah. So they came with this story about Quran being created. This Ahmad bin Abi Du'ad came with this story, Quran being created. So he tried to force everybody to say Quran is created. That is his understanding. So he said that everybody has to say it. And there was the majority of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah were against this. They saw it as conspiracy. They were looking very far. Like, this is a way to leading somewhere else. I don't know. So they tried to stop it. So they started talking against it. When the Khalifa now started bringing the heads, those who are known, Ahmad bin Hanbal, bin Ma'in, bin Madini, they come and you have to say this, you have to agree. If anyone who doesn't agree is killed or sent to prison. You understand? This is where Ahmad bin Hanbal has a very high status according to his followers. You know, the Hanbalis what they say. Not the Hanbalis, I mean many people say it. I heard it, protectors of the Sunnah, and they say after Abu Bakr, the religion has been saved by two people. Abu Bakr in Hurub al-Ridda and Ahmad bin Hanbal. This is everywhere in Saudi and all the Hanbalis. Yeah, that it doesn't make any sense. The religion has not been saved, and if people were saying the Quran is created, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's an understanding. You agree or you disagree, and then what happens? If someone says Quran is created, what happened? Like he became Christian? That is his understanding. I don't agree. I agree or I don't agree. So, well, now they say Quran is not created in Saudi. There was, mashallah. I personally prefer that Ahmad bin Abi Du'ad is ruling Saudi rather than this Tawagid, isn't it? Ahmad bin Abi Du'ad was applying the Sharia, and this is his understanding. What's the big deal? Isn't it? But the truth is, that is just story. That's people of their leaders. That is, every madhab does the same thing with this, giving high status to their leader and stuff. You know, Ahmad bin Hanbal used this hadith. You know, Ahmad bin Hanbal made Ali ibn al-Madini and Ibn Ma'in kafir.
I want to ask you about this.
Is there proof for that?
Yeah, he considered them to be kafir. According to Ahmad bin Hanbal, even though he didn't say it, Bukhari is kafir. Ahmad bin Hanbal.
What about Abu Dawud al-Zahiri? He said to go.
Dawud al-Zahiri. Yeah, he said, actually, look, to see how wrong he was. To see how wrong he was. Dawud al-Zahiri came to see him. And then he was asked, he said, is this the one who says Quran is created? He sent to him, he said, no, I don't say it. He said, someone told me. And I trust him more than you.
I want to ask you.
No, a person is denying that he said it. Yes.
You know when he made takfir on the two.
Yes. Ibn Madini.
Okay. Why didn't he make takfir on the ruler that was implemented?
Yes, that is the problem. That is the same. That is the same ruling that the Saudis are doing.
Because he made
Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen. If someone doesn't pray one prayer, he is kafir. And Abdullah and Fad, they never pray. And they are Muslim. No, they are. You know what?
Well, some people make excuses that say because he helped out the sister when she said "Ya Mu'tasim" and he sent the whole.
That's Mu'tasim. That's not Amun. That is Mu'tasim, the one who comes after. But the thing is, even if you are kafir, you are kafir. Doesn't matter. إن الله يؤيد هذا الدين بالرجل الفاجر. So it doesn't matter if you are kafir, you are kafir. Whatever you do.
They go against their principle. These people.
You know what? What he brought a rule to the world. You know, when someone is in power, he has immunity. You know, Prime Minister, for example, he has immunity. The people of Parliament, they have this diplomatic passport. They have immunity. So they gave Ma'mun diplomatic immunity. The thing is, in that problem, there was not the best. Ahmed bin Hanbal was good. You don't say about anything about himself. You really, if people don't try to put him above his place, you can never say anything about him. It's just a question of to talk about people who think that he is the prophet. He is not. But there was people in his time who have done better. There are people who died for their belief.
Taking their followers,
yeah,
to promote it.
I mean, there is a boy called Nuh who was killed for that. He was beaten until he died, and he won't say it. Ahmed bin Hanbal did not stand the way that boy stood up. There was someone, Abu Nu'aym, Abu Nu'aym al-Fadl ibn Dukayn, Sheikh al-Bukhari. His hadith is plenty hadith in Bukhari. And he was a very poor man. He had no followers. He stood up to Imam. You know what he said to him? That is standing. Ma'mun told him, do you say Quran is makhluq? And he did this. You know,
untied.
No, this. Having what button. He took a button like this. Ma'mun looking, and he just took a button and threw it on the floor. Then he looked at him, he said, do you see that? Do you see that? He said, yes. He said, my head, fi sabilillah, is cheaper than that. Quran is not makhluk. You understand? So if my head is cheaper, and you see what I have done? I had thrown it on the floor. Just cut it off if you want. And you know, they didn't do anything to him.
Subhanallah.
That is standing. But he had no one to promote him. Like,
That's not Salafi.
Yeah, there is no media there. Yeah. And there is a wise person. There was a wise person. The one who stopped this problem altogether. Not Ahmed bin Hanbal, not anybody. Someone from Dimashq. Very wealthy person who believed exactly what these people believed. And he was not a person of knowledge, like studying because he had money and he was publishing this, helping the people. They brought him from Dimashq to Baghdad, and then when he got there, they brought him because he was so rich. So he said, I want to have a debate with Ahmed ibn Abi Du'at. So they brought him, and he had to debate. He told the Khalifa is sitting. He told him, I asked this man question and I want him to answer. Ahmed bin Abi Du'ad was very clever. So he told him, you know, Quran being created, that you want everybody to say it. This matter about Quran being created. Is it something that the Prophet and Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali knew about? Because if they knew about, he would say, okay, where did they force people to say it? So Ahmed bin Abi Du'ad is very clever, but he made something very stupid. He said, no, they didn't. So he told him like, he knew what he wanted to say. So he said, So something that Abu Bakr, the Prophet and Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali don't know. You know it? So the Khalifa was sitting, his mufti is talking rubbish like. So he looked at him, what are you... He said, sorry, can you just repeat the question? He said, I am taking back what I said. Can you... So he said, I am going to... No, he didn't say repeat the question. He said, sorry, can I take what I said back? He said, yes, you can take it back, and I'm answering the same question. You understand? So he said, answer me. He said, yes, they knew about it. He said, did they force people to say it, to follow them, like the way they are doing it? He said, they didn't. Because if they did, where is it? I mean, it will be in the hadiths, in the books. He said, no, they didn't. He said, if they didn't, can't you just do what they have done? Like leave everybody alone doing what he... So, he didn't know what to say. The Khalifa went... He couldn't hold himself from laughing because the man said the Prophet did not know about it. So he went in, and then that was the last of it, the end of it. He stopped it there. So that is wisdom. And the story about Ahmad ibn Hanbal is he after that made people kuffar for a long time, not for a long time until he died. For some of them is Ali ibn al-Madini and Ibn Ma'in. According to him, they are kafir. And he, when they told him, brought this ayah, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَا وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ, he said no. That ayah was revealed about Ammar ibn Yasir. And Ammar ibn Yasir was not told to say something. He was beaten first. Then told to do. He said, but you said it before you were beaten.
There's no point.
Huh?
There's no good point.
No, it's not a point at all. مَنْ أُكْرِهَا إِكْرَاهِ. You don't. If someone tells you, I'm going to shoot you, you tell him, "Oh, shoot me first." I mean,
And then after all
and then I will see if I can say it or not.
What they say they're going to beat you?
Huh?
What they say they're going to beat you?
Yeah. Actually, there is. If he follows the Salaf al-Salih, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud used to say, if someone wants me to say any word, and he is going to slap me, I will say it before.
It says, repeat that, sir.
Ibn Mas'ud said, if someone wants me to say something and he threatens me with a slap, then I will say it.
That's his understanding of Ikrah.
Yeah?
That's his understanding.
That is his understanding of Ikrah.
Because there's people that limit it.
Anyway, the hadith of Ammar ibn Yasir is da'if. The hadith of Ammar ibn Yasir, that he was beaten and told to say things about the Prophet, and he said, and then he went to the Prophet and the ayah was revealed. That hadith is the narration of Muhammad ibn Ammar ibn Yasir without saying that his father said. That makes it mursal. Even though he is the son of the supposed subject, still people are supposed to consider this hadith to be mursal, because unless he say I heard it from my father, he might have heard it from someone else. Okay? So
ما اسم شيخ البخاري؟
أبو نعيم الفضل بن دقين. Okay?
What did Bukhari say about the Quran? So Bukhari say about Quran.
Quran. Quran says لفظي بالقرآن مخلوق. Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, whoever says لفظي بالقرآن مخلوق, then he is worse than someone who says Quran مخلوق.
But where's the evidence for saying the person who says Quran makhluk is kafir? Where's the evidence for that?
Tell me. You tell me. You understand? Person who say Quran is makhluk is a mujtahid. Yes? He read Quran and either understood it or misunderstood it.
What was the kufr in saying that?
That is the thing. So it's like in the understanding of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, sometimes there is no like...
Wasn't there a companion who said
emotions, I think it's
the Quran is created? One of the companions.
No companion have said anything about it. No companion have said anything. There is a hadith from Umar ibn Khattab that he said, read this Quran and whatever you understand it, apply it. Whatever you don't understand, leave it. Kiluhu ila alimihi, the one who knows it, to Allah. And in another narration, كِلُوهُ إِلَى خَالِقِهِ to the one who created it. So there, the debate started from there. Some say عَالِمِهِ, some say no, خَالِقِهِ is the narration. But if someone recites Quran, you know, even this rule about someone kafir, not kafir, they apply it about some people and they don't apply it just like Ma'mun. Ma'mun is not kafir. Ali ibn al-Madini is kafir. The ones that we need are not kafir.
Yeah, because he said if you say Ma'mun is kafir, then you kill him straight away.
Look, so many people who say Quran makhluq. The Hanbalis, the way they stick to their Imam, but they couldn't stick here too much. Because Ali ibn al-Madini there is no way to make Ali ibn al-Madini kafir. It will be big deal. You understand? There is a lot of things that will have to be looked at. You understand? So it's a question of, you see so many people who say Quran makhluq, because what's called Ahmed bin Abi Du'ad ask Hanbalis, kafir. Yeah? Ma'mun, not kafir. Zamakhshari, the narrator of, you know, the Zamakhshari Mufassir? Mu'tazili, yes. He is
the best tafsir.
Yes, but he says Quran makhluq. You know, he is very good linguistic. And he wrote the Quran, he started like this. Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa al-Quran. They told him the Ahl Sunnah will not read it. So he said, Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'ala al-Quran. But ja'ala means khalaqa. You understand? So yeah. So look, why they don't say about him kafir? I mean, if you have if you believe something, you have to go all the way. So you don't listen to people. Whoever you listen to, always with careful where he is right, where he is wrong. So it's not. So Ahmed bin Hanbal is just someone who is very good about. He has a lot of very good understanding. He was actually someone who follows hadith literally. He is known. That is why people call Hanbalis, they used to call them Bahiris. He used to follow the hadith really word by word. If there is something in his madhab, either because his followers change it or because he was following someone before him. Or his understanding, he always stick to the wordings, nothing else. But these mistakes, for example, about Aqidah, that is his mistake, that nobody should follow it. Now, the rukhsa. Go back to the rukhsa. When we talk about rukhsa, people say, whenever there is word rukhsa, that means it is the opposite of azima. Yeah? You see, when people say the Prophet rakhasa, the Prophet has given permission for something. That shows it's 10:30.
10 o'clock. Was 10 o'clock.
We continue later. Yeah?
Sure.
Just remind me about the point. We have not finished rukhsa. Yes.